As she turned towards the stream, she heard someone calling softly, "My daughter, come." She turned around. An old woman stood by the path wrapped in faded clothes. "I want to buy fruits for my friend. They are waiting in the market." Chimobi hesitated. "Mama, it's late too." The woman smiled. "Don't fear, just follow me." When they got to the market square, she saw them figures. Dozens of them moving around, selling, laughing, but they were not people. Their faces were pale, their eyes hollow, their movements slow and dreamlike. "She is here," one of the spirits said, voice echoing like wind. "The living one who trades after our time. Join us," another whispered. Chimobi screamed, threw her tray away, and ran for her dear life. The sun hung low over Yucca village, spilling golden light on red dusty paths that twisted between clusters of mud houses. The marketplace was already humming with noise, women calling out prices, children chasing each other between stores, the redeeming pounding of fufu echoing from the food's corner. It was the kind of day when everything Yucca looked alive. But as the day aged, the air always changed. By late afternoon, whispers would begin to rise like mists. Traders started packing up hurriedly, eyes dancing at the sky that now blushed with the color of blood orange. The market was known to fall silent before the first star appeared. Everyone knew why. In Yucca, no one stayed in the marketplace after sunset. Not because of thieves, nor because of wild animals, but because of them, the spirits. The ones who traded when the humans slept. After sunset, the spirits would gather at the marketplace, buying and selling different goods the way humans did. Chimobi had balanced a white tray of fruits on her head, bright oranges, pineapples, garden eggs, mangoes, and banana bunches that glistened under the dying sunlight. Her steps were graceful, practiced. Every day she walked through the market parts calling in a voice that was both soft and strong. "Fresh fruits, buy your sweet fruit here. Orange with a sweet past sugar." Children adored her. Old women blessed her. She was known for her cheerfulness, her dedication that caught the eyes. Yet beneath that smile was a heart heavy with responsibility. Her husband Chinidu had died 2 years ago, leaving her with a young daughter and a pile of debts. Chimobi had sworn to herself she wouldn't beg. She would sell until she could now stand on her feet. Every day she woke up before dawn and walked till her bones ached. But money as always came in drops. So when others closed shop before sunset, Chimobi often stayed a little longer hawking through the streets. Just a little more time. She would say one more customer can change everything. Her friend Chichi will always quoted her. "Chimobi, you know they fear? You know that nobody sells after sunset. The spirits will soon come out. Yet here you are selling as though you are one of them." Chimobi would laugh it off. "Please leave that one. All those ones in our story. This is just one of those superstitious fears they instilled in us when we were younger. I've never seen any spirit before. And it's not today I will see." Chichi will shake her head, her voice slow. "Hey, just pray you never encounter them." That evening the sun slips behind the hills faster than usual. Traders began to pack their wares. Mama Obi, the tomato and pepper sellers, shouted at her son. "Obi, hurry up and arrange this tomatoes so we can leave here. The sun is already setting." The others hurried out of the market, their slippers slapping the ground as if chased by invisible feet. Chimobi, however, remained. She still had half of her fruits unsold, and the thought of going home with them made her chest rise. As night fell, she walked through the parts leading to the edge of the market, calling softly, "Sweet fruit, fresh orange for your evening." The air suddenly changed, still heavy and thick with silence. Crickets that normally chirped at that hour seemed to have stopped. She felt a breeze move through her wrapper, icy and foreign, brushing her neck like whisper. Then she saw him, a tall man, stood a few feet away. He was dressed in white, clean, crisp like someone going to church. But his face was strangely blurred by the dim light, and fog surrounded him. Still his voice was clear when he spoke. "You sell fruits?" Chimobi hesitated. "Yes, sir." He walked closer, his steps soundless. The air seemed to stretch around him. He looked at her fruit and smiled. "Give me the sweetest one." His hand brushed hers as he took an orange. It was cold. Not the cold of water, but the cold of something that should not exist in the living world. "Should I peel it for you?" she asked, forcing a smile. He looked at her with eyes that glowed faintly like distant lanterns. "No need." He bit into the orange and turned to leave. "Oh, you never pay?" she began. But when she blinked, he was gone. Vanished. The road was empty. A cold wind blew across her face, carrying a faint smell of something old and strange, like burnt incense mixed with earth. Her body stiffened. She dropped her tray, fruit rolling into the darkness. Then she ran. That night, she barely slept. Every creak of the bamboo door made her jump. Her daughter Adora slept peacefully beside her, unaware that her mother's heart was galloping in fear. Morning came with its usual bustle, and for a moment the nightmare of the previous night felt distant. Chimobi had convinced herself it was just exhaustion. Maybe she had imagined it. But as evening approached again, she still picked up her tray. "Chimobi," Chi-Chi called, catching her by the wrist. "You want to go and sell again this night?" "Yes," she said softly. "I must get school fees is due for payment. I need to make more money. No matter how small, this thing you are doing won't end well. I beg Chi-Chi, let me hear word." She walked away before her friend could say another word. The sun was already slipping away, the sky painted in crimson streaks. Chimobi's heart pounded, but she forced herself to keep walking. At first, everything was normal. A few villagers bought from her quickly, eager to return home before darkness fell. But soon, the streets emptied, the silence settled once more. Then, out of nowhere, the air turned cold again. The leaves rustled, though no wind blew. She hugged a wrapper around her body and quickened her pace. Something brushed her ankle. She froze. A small shadow moved beside her, crawling fast across the ground. Her breath cut. It was shaped like a hand, but there was no body attached to it. Chimobi screamed, dropping her tray, and ran all the way home without stopping once. When she reached her compound, she slammed the door shut, panting. Her hands trembled as she bolted it. For a long time, she sat in the dark, clutching her chest, whispering prayers. But by morning, that night felt like a dream, as if it never happened. Maybe it was her mind playing tricks on her. Maybe she was just tired. The next day, she tried to act normal. Chi-Chi came by and noticed how stressed she looked and asked her what was wrong, but Chimobi avoided talking about the night before. She couldn't bear to admit how shaken she was. By sunset, she was out again, though this time she felt uneasy. The shadows seemed longer, the silence heavier. As she passed the path by the old shrine, a man waved her down. He was tall and broad-shouldered, dressed like a traveler. "Madam, I want to buy 2 pineapples," he said, smiling. She handed them to him, happy for the sale. He gave her a crisp note, but when she turned to put the money in her bag and looked back up, he was gone. Completely gone. The road was empty. Chimobi's knees almost gave way. Her breath came in sharp bursts. She looked at the notes and screamed. The money had turned into a leaf. At this point, the strange happenings were beginning to take a toll on her. The next few nights, Chimobi refused to go out, now believing that her experiences were not just mere coincidence. But poverty has its way of silencing fear. After a few days, she found herself lifting her tray again, convincing herself she would only walk near her compound, not too far. The moon was bright that night, the air thick with the smell of dust and cold dew. As she turned towards the stream path, she heard someone call softly, "My daughter." She turned. An old woman stood by the path, wrapped in faded clothes. Her eyes were sunken but kind. "My daughter, come. I want to buy fruit for my friends. They are waiting in the market." She hesitated. "Mama, it's late though." The woman smiled. "Don't fear. We only need small fruit. Just follow me." Her voice was gentle, too gentle. Chimobi's fear melted, replaced by a strange calm. She followed her. The roads felt longer than usual. The night seemed thicker. When they reached the market square, the place that should have been dark and empty was now glowing faintly, as if the moonlight had decided to dance on its own. And then she saw them. Figures, dozens of them, moving around, selling, laughing. But they were not people. Their faces were pale, their eyes hollow, their movements slow and dreamlike. The air buzzed with whispers, and every fruit on her tray began to rot at once, melting into black mush. Chimobi screamed. The old woman turned to her and smiled, and her face began to crumble like ash, revealing a hollow skull beneath. "She is here," one of the spirits said, voice echoing like wind. "The living one who trades after our time. Join us," another whispered. A cold hand reached out toward her. She turned and ran barefoot, her wrapper flying. She didn't stop until she reached her hut. She bolted the door, shaking violently, tears streaming down her face. That night, sleep was no refuge. As soon as she closed her eyes and drifted into sleep, she found herself back in the market. But now she was one of them, selling blackened fruits that oozed thick liquid. The spirits laughed with her, called her name, and danced around her. When she woke, her bedsheet was damp and the smell of rotten fruit filled her room. Every night, it happened again. The dreams got stronger, the voices louder. Sometimes she would wake and find herself standing outside her hut, barefoot, tray in hand, as if something had called her out while she slept. She no longer had control of herself. Her daughter started crying at night, saying she saw people standing by the window calling her mother's name. It became unbearable. One morning, when she could no longer take it, Chimobi went to the outskirts of the village, to the home of Mama, the most powerful sorceress known around Yucca. Her hut was dark, filled with the smell of herbs and burning incense. "Mama, please help me," Chimobi sobbed. "They won't let me rest. I see them. I hear them every night." Mama looked at her quietly for a long time, then nodded slowly. "I warned your people. I told them the spirits of Yucca trade when the sun sleeps. You entered their time." Her eyes glowed faintly in the dark. "Now they have marked you as one of their own." Chimobi trembled. "What can I do?" "You must cleanse your spirit before they take you fully." The old woman gathered items: white clothes, cowries, chalk, 7 candles, and a small gourd of oil. She gave Chimobi a list of things to bring before sunset. "You will go to the river," she said. "When the moon is high, dip yourself 5 times. As the water covers you, speak your name aloud and reject their call. Then come back to me." Chimobi did exactly as told. The night she entered the river, the water felt alive, cold, thick, almost like hands brushing her skin. She trembled but obeyed. Chimobi, reject the spirit of Yucca. I belong to the living." A sudden wind rose from nowhere, howling through the trees. She felt something lift off her body like a heavy cloth torn away. She gasped, stumbling out of the river, and fell to her knees. When she looked up, she saw them, the same spirits, standing across the water, their faces unreadable. The old woman among them smiled faintly, nodded, and turned away. Then they vanished. After that night, peace slowly returned. The dream stopped. The air in her house felt lighter. Her daughter no longer cried in her sleep. Even her fruits began to sell faster during the day, as if fortune had returned to her side. The villagers noticed she didn't sell at night again. They whispered, "She has learned her lesson." Chimobi kept her vow. As soon as the sky turned orange, she packed her tray and went home. No matter how little she sold, sometimes she still passed by the market after sunset just to glance at the empty stalls. The place always seemed too quiet, too still. Yet she could feel eyes watching from the dark, and she would whisper softly, "I have learned, spirits of Yucca. I know my place now." Then she would turn and walk home, thankful for the second chance she had been given. People still tell her story today, the story of the woman who defied the sun and traded in the hour of spirits. And though many laugh it off as superstition, those who live in Yucca know better. As the sun sinks each evening, the traders pack their baskets, tie their wrappers, and hurry home. And if you walk through the market just after dusk, you might still hear faint laughter, soft, distant, and echoing between the stalls. But no one looks back. Not anymore. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and turn on your post notification to get notified when next I post a new video.